Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Mystics MMOs. I'm your host, Mystic Raven. Alright, so Dark Knights is less than 2 weeks away and from being put on the live server. But today I want to talk about best in slot for DPS and why it matters. And we're going to go over ally composition, artifacts, and so on. Now, I'm in my off-tank role, but we're going to be going over still. Currently, the best in slot items for DPS would be the transformation card. This is kind of important because we get critical ability attack chance of 45%. Now that's in this gear. Now if I go to the vendor and we'll get some DPS gear, I don't anticipate it to really go up dramatically, but we'll still get it. But in a tank most definitely want an off tank in an organized play. In pugs and normals, not really a big deal. It really isn't. So, I mean, the content's just not that up to the par where you need to have every little thing, accounted for. Alright. I do have a few pieces. Actually, it does look like I have it. Alright. Let's take a look again real quick. Still 45. The ability attack damage is 135. Now, very, very important, because if we remove that, look at the drop. Look at our drop. You want it. That's a best in slot item, hands down. The next best in slot item we're going to talk about is Lernay's Amulet. I've had people recently ask me why I use this. Let's do the math here. For example, let's read it first. Whenever you use a superpower, take its power cost and damage, which sucks because you're not going to use this as a solo artifact. It basically kill you. But here's the deal. You'll gain a stack of offering, increasing your might by 3% per stack up to 10 stacks for 6 seconds. Now, what's 3 times 10? 30. That's 30% extra might. 30% extra might. Each additional stack increases the damage you take. Now, the finisher will heal you, but it's really, I can't stack it all on PTS because I don't have a healer. But yeah. Now, the next best in slot, especially if you're going to use Venom, or in this case, I'm a Rage, so I use Infuriate. Infuriate, hands down, is really one of the best OP supercharges. Why? Because it increases your critical chance and damage. Okay? So this one is really good, but what you need to do if you're using those type of supercharges like Venom or Infuriate, you want to take Scrap of the Soul Cloak, because it reduces that cooldown and gives you a percentage of it back. your supercharge back. So that is for DPS the best in slot. Now this is why you want an off tank, because when you use Ugrin, you get might equal to 2% of your health. The most health that you're going to ever get is from tanks, but the thing about this is it doubles if you're in DPS role. Now, why does it matter on tank? Because tank gear has the highest health, and you're not going to put DPS in tank gear. So you put a tank in tank gear, put them in DPS, load out with this artifact. Now that's not your primary tank, that's an off tank. So on my off tank, for example, I use the transformation card, and I use Ugrin, and then whatever. But let me go ahead and show you guys this, and it makes a difference. It really does. Math makes a difference. Okay, always math. So you want to pay attention to your math. All right, now I want to show you guys my might currently. It's at 90. Now keep in mind, right, that I'm not going to be able to stack all of that, you know, those stacks, because it'll kill me for loading nards, but you'll still get the idea. Alright. Now when we come in, 121 might. Went up 30,000 might. 30,000 might. 30. I put the heal on here for now. Whatever, I took a little bit of damage still. Oh, tell me I got that heal trinket. And I didn't even use the trinkets or any other modifier. Okay? As of yet. I do have my allies on here. Alright. Let me heal up. Alright, so watch this. 88,000 without full stack. Okay? And I can get higher on one hit. 88,000. Now, very, very important also are the allies. Now, I know everybody wants to talk about the Batman who laughs. But the best in slot items, especially passively, is going to be Nubia, which you get from the Wonder Time Capsules. And why? Because upon defeating an enemy, increase might for you and your nearby allies for a small amount. Now, Batman Who Laughs, the luck of the draw. So let's talk about luck of the draw here. There's 3 offensive draws, right? But the one that's really the one you want, a lot of people would be like, you know, you want the one that increases your might, the Batman card. So when Batman card drops and all that might stack is stacking, that's going to increase your damage further as a passive, right? Now, in most raids, we have trash mobs throughout a fight. When you beat those trash mobs, you get the passive from Nubia, right? So when we get the passive from Nubia, we'll get an extra 2% might. on top. And then you can debate if you want to use House Spot. House Spot still was really powerful against bosses. So even though Batman, Death Metal Batman is really good, a Death Metal Batman to me is more support than DPS. I would still recommend the House Spot, this configuration. But these two are best in slot. Now you add an off tank with Urgrid, or however you want to say. Then you replace, if you have an off tank, you put him on this, and then you use Soul Cloak. These are the best in slot items, for sure. So I'm just making sure there's no comments. And it matters, man. It really matters. It matters. Math matters. So I don't want people coming up, oh, I use this artifact or I use that artifact. You can use whatever you want. I'm not trying to be toxic. But when it comes to best in slot, these are best in slot. These are the best in slots that we have currently for DPS. I mean, and we're not even associating our new back piece that we're getting, which is our other best in slot currently. Yeah, huge, massive. Now let's make sure if I got the DPS trinket. I do. So let's. I would love to build up my whatever, but actually I can. So let me do this real quick. Let me build up my trying to build up my maturity. Notice the difference, 80 down to 30. $75 right there. Got 88. Come on, a little bit more. 74. Almost. Okay. Alright, now we're going to slot this back on, and then we're going to pop the infuriate as well. Now, once again, we take a look at our criticals, right? 135, 45. Alright. And then we'll also do the hit. Criticals, 52. 7% increase when you have Infuriate activated. Yeah. We hit for 98. That's why that soul scrap of the soul cloak matters. But you need a healer with Leonard's amulet. It's imperative that you're in a group composition with a healer. Don't try to do it without a healer. But when you have a healer and you're in composition, it is best in slot. It is. So no two ways around it. There's no two ways around that. People can say what they want, whatever. Lenars is the best in slot. It is. And there's a reason why you're taking the damage. Because you're getting up to, you can stack up to 30% just from that artifact. Now add the allies I mentioned, and yeah, we go to town. We go to town. We can push well up to like an extra 40 something thousand extra might. Ooh. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby, baby. Makes a difference. Do your homework, kids. Do your homework. But, as always, I'm Mr. Craven. This is Mystics MMOs. Have a nice day, y'all.